Hello, my name is Kate, otherwise known as Ginger's Greetings here on YouTube and on Instagram, and today we're going to be talking about my first experience with figure drawing. Yep, that's right, figure drawing. A big topic. I don't know if it's really a big topic, but I feel like it's a big topic. For those of you who don't know, figure drawing, or life drawing as we called it in my class, is when you draw the human figure from a live model in front of you. While it can be an extremely beneficial practice, the concept can also be a little jarring at first, mainly because the models are usually drawn in the nude. Yeah, I know, that's a little awkward. Now, this can elicit a whole bunch of different reactions from people, but when I heard we were doing life drawing class, I was a little anxious. It's not that I didn't want to, I was really excited to be practicing something I had only ever read about online. But I was always awkward about this kind of stuff, more so than the average person. Like, in gym class before college, I had a separate changing room in middle school from all of the rest of the student body, and in high school, I was too embarrassed to look anywhere but the wall before. Eyes were glued to the tile. To be honest, I'm not really sure if that's an anxiety thing anymore, or if that was just being a queer kid growing up in the public education system. If you've had the same experience, please let me know. I want to know that I am not alone. Even my own sibling and I would go to the bathroom to change when we shared our room before college. So yeah, the idea of purposefully looking at someone naked was weird. I'm gonna say naked and nude way too much in this video. It's gonna be weird. I'm so sorry. Not really though. You can click off this video if you want. So this was one of the first art classes I had ever taken. Let me make sure you know that. Like many other people, my parents didn't exactly support me taking art in high school. Art was considered like a hobby to them. And my career options were to be a scientist, an engineer, a doctor, and since I was AFAB, assigned female at birth, or for those of you who don't get what that means, think just, I've got woman slapped on my birth certificate, unfortunately. And because of that, teaching and therapy were also on the table. Don't ask me why, just I guess being a woman means that I can also teach and do therapy. It was to the point where they threatened to ban me from drawing if my grades dropped too low, so I was pretty much forced to put it second to my education. I think because of that, most of the drawing I experienced was drawing cartoons in a tiny little sketchbook between classes. It wasn't sitting in front of an easel with a stick of charcoal. When I got to college, I couldn't help but feel like I was inherently behind. Mediums, realism, drawing from observation, everything about that class was new to me. And being in the midst of learning all these new skills while taking on figure drawing for the very first time was incredibly intimidating. Then, in class, we found out our model would be different from previous years he'd taught. I'm not sure if I was relieved to hear she would be a girl. On the one hand, I'd be drawing parts I'd already seen before, but on the other hand, I was a gay anxiety baby who was worried it would be weird. But it helped to hear that since she was new to it too, we'd kind of be in the same boat, and as the days grew closer, I found myself more excited than I was actually scared about the prospect. Thinking back, it's really weird to remember how quickly I grew comfortable in that class. Like, grabbing a board and setting up my easel became like no big deal, when I think in the beginning it felt so intimidating to see all the other students who had done this before looking so professional, and then I was one of them. And when the day actually came, and I walked in to see the professor handing the aforementioned girl a robe to change into, I just went through the motions. I went straight to my easel, got my charcoal ready, and sat down. Of course, as soon as she stepped up to the middle of the room, it did feel like a big deal. Did I have everything ready? Was my phone away? What if I check my purse to make sure my phone was away and they think I'm trying to sneak photos and kick me out, hence ruining my life forever? Questions and intrusive thoughts ran through my head as he explained how long we were going to draw each pose for, starting with 10-second stretches and moving up to a 10-minute drawing. Then, shortly after, she somewhat anticlimactically disrobed and clunkily got into her first pose. In that instant, I felt a brief twang in my head of panic, the kind of feeling you get when you experience something you thought was impossible, or something that just defies the social norms so strongly that you never thought you'd see it. Like the time you see someone put syrup on eggs or dip a fry into their milkshake. Instead, this time we were staring, just a group of somewhere between like 15 and 20 students staring at a naked lady in the center of a room. It was weird at first, but as I started drawing, I completely forgot what I had been anxious about in the first place. It took 5, maybe 10 seconds for her to become an amalgamation of curves and shapes to just transfer to paper. After that, the only things I was worried about were getting the strokes right and if she was cold, because the room was cold. Out of everything, I didn't expect how refreshing the experience would be. People try to show their best selves online, and trust me, I think that's completely natural. I'm not trying to say that people who only post their best selfies or do any Photoshop are bad people. But constantly seeing people's perfect bodies online will wear on you because nobody in real life is perfect. Now, the model we had was actually on the thinner side. She was similar in proportion to myself, but she also had stretch marks, fat rolls, and tattoos. And I mean, I don't have tattoos, but you know what I mean. You don't really see that on people online, like on models. It was nice to see someone who looked real. It was also validating to see that in a society where nudity, especially in women, is sexualized, we were appreciating it in a completely respectful, non-sexual way. Plus, she seemed excited to check out our easels during breaks and see our work, which, while a little anxiety-inducing, was also very sweet. I also know she got paid like $20 an hour, which all things considered I think is pretty nifty, so good for her. So, was it weird? Short answer, no, it wasn't. It was actually a really positive thing to take part in, but there were things I didn't expect, and it made for a wonderful learning experience. So, if you have the opportunity, I highly recommend you try figure drawing for yourself. Yeah, that's all I have for the day. This has been Kate, otherwise known as Ginger's Greetings, here on YouTube and on Instagram, and every day. I hope you have a lovely day every day. Yeah, bye-bye.